Hey
Guys,
Scott, what's going on?
how you doing? How you both doing?
Well, Scott.
Good.
Are you both? I just spoke to the other guys, and they were in London. Where are you guys at the moment?
Los
LA.
Angeles.
So it's early.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully you've had some coffee, and there you go. Have some coffee. Good stuff. Guys, congratulations on the show.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it so far. I've only watched a couple because I'm keeping myself on tenterhook so I can go back and keep some stuff to go. Maybe if I start with you first, Nicco. I mean, I asked the guys this about the show. I mean, it's so rich with life. It's so vibrant. The characters are so fascinating, and just the story in general is just so wonderful. I wondered what it was for you guys. What kind of drew you in? I mean, there's lots of reasons I can imagine, but what was it specifically that kind of drew you into this particular world?
Katori Hall. Katori Hall. Her writing. Everything in this world, to me, I was attracted by the words first. The words, the sounds. I trained at a conservatory program at Purchase here in New York, well, there in New York. And to be able to hear language in a authentic sense that had this more, I won't even say the same, it had more breath than Shakespeare. It had more range with tone, with the intellect of the words that were chosen, with also the familiarity. You were able to have, she always says beauty and monster in her characters, having that juxtaposition. And I would say that was one of the main things that first drew me to the piece.
Yeah, likewise, meeting Katori, there's an immediate sense of warmth and comfort. And you say, okay, I can relate with this sister here. And for me, once I read the first script, or just even the sides for the audition, I said, man, she has an amazing way of capturing the voices that she's heard or the voices that she hears around her in a very authentic sense, like Nicco said. And so that is comforting as an actor, as an artist, as a Black man, as a father, as a brother. That's comforting because you want to tell those stories. And so to be a part of that is great, and to understand the complexities of it even more now, and how genius she is to really connect how complex our culture is and put it on the page. It is really great to see, and really great to help tell that story.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a world we've seen before, but I don't think I've seen so many films and TV shows over the years. I haven't seen it so kind of rich, and as you said, it has such a vibrancy, such a unique voice that more so now more than ever that we kind of need. I mean, maybe if I start with you, Jay. I mean, how important do you think that is? How important do you think this show exists right now, even before what's happened has happened? How important do you think that a show like this exists, and a show like this educates as well as entertains?
So I'm gonna take that sip there first.
Come on, brother, come on.
And that's been from the beginning. And so now it's just another voice added to the platform, who she is using her platform to change the narratives of what is really going on here. And so it's extremely important. The timing of it is extremely important. And so to understand what's going to happen from this, we may not quite understand it right now, but we can feel it. That's for sure. And so seeing this show, understanding and knowing the potential that it has to change my brother's life, my cousin's lives, my auntie, my sisters, that alone is amazing. But to know that it can change other families' lives and other people's lives, it's going to be amazing. And so the fact that people are sitting at home, quarantined, yes, that is great. But this show is going to change and impact people regardless. And so I'm just grateful that it's happening now. I'm grateful that your ears are open, your eyes are open to it. So everyone in the UK, please just be ready for the revolution,
Yeah. And that revolution, I think, is in people's hearts. It's in their hearts because their humanity is arrested, to me, when you watch this show. You're like, oh, that's like Alphonse said, that's like my aunt, that's like my cousin. I have a younger sibling that goes through that, or I have that kind of a relationship with my mom. I thought I was the only one, you know. I think that it's a piece that speaks to people regardless of race, regardless of economic status, regardless of education. I think that it is something that deserves to be told. These people, all of these people, deserve to have their stories told. And I don't think that we have seen their representation as authentically as it is in P Valley before.
Yeah, and obviously here in the as you say, we're in the UK, and our we've obviously been, so many people have been protesting, so many people have been doing so many amazing things. And me as a I don't know if you guys have seen this from over there, but I'm a big football fan, and the football world has come together to really kind of embrace this message and make sure that people are educated, are making sure that they open their eyes maybe for the first time. Do you guys see a change that's different? It feels different this time. Do you guys feel like it's a stepping stone in the right direction that will continue to go in the right direction, rather than going 2 steps and then taking 3 steps back?
I don't think there's any turning back now. I don't think there's any turning back now, because too many eyes are on the issues. I think that life kind of, my sister told me that, she said, life begins at the beginning of your discomfort. And we are all shaken right now. We all, as a Black man, I get frustrated. I'm exhausted, but I'm also inspired, you know? So I do what I do every single day, then I rest to replenish, to do it again tomorrow. And for me, this piece, I think art has always been my activism. So you do what you can, you do your part.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's how I felt about this the entire time. I have no problem taking the back seat and being useful in the back seat, knowing that there are people in the front who can really drive this thing forward. The generation right beneath me, you know, they're really out there just kind of making things happen. And so I feel like, likewise, art is my way of protesting. Art is my way of telling the stories that need to be heard. And you know, I feel like this show is just, you know, it's really going to touch people in such amazing ways. And I keep kind of repeating that because I believe it's true. I really believe it's going to touch hearts all across the country. And as far as the sports world and athletes, yeah, they're going to see it too. They're going to, you know, be affected by it. And I feel like the things that are changing within that culture, I feel like some people see it 2 different ways. Some people feel like it's a distraction to have sports involved. But I also feel like, you know, let these athletes, you know, have their peace, you know, let them figure out a way to where they can continue to do what they love to do, but make sure that we keep the matters at hand in focus. And with P Valley, it's undeniable. You can't, the matters at hand are going to be there, and it's going to call your attention to that. So, yeah, I believe that was kind of what your question was.
Yeah, and I think that these women are athletes. You know, the women in this world, they are athletes. Our show is not a show where it's not just about some antiquated idea around pole dancing. It's really, Katori was really interested to me, I think, in the athleticism, the hard work, the dedication that goes into pole dancing. Pole dancing as a sport in and of itself has crossed over into lots of people's homes and daily lives, where people are taking pole classes the same way they would boxing classes, you know, because I tell you, it will get some muscles together that you never thought that you had, you know. I was like, ow, what is this? And the girl's like, oh, you're fine. You just have this little shin splint. You just have this. And I'm like, this hurt. This hurt worse than when I'm lifting weights trying to do something, you know, but it's a different thing.
I just back on the show, I did want to ask you guys about your characters. I mean, there's so many distinctive voices, so many distinctive characters in the show, but you two get to play in such a great kind of toy box in many ways with the characters that you play. Nicco, with you, I mean, Uncle Clifford, I mean, I love the guy from the first sort of couple of minutes that I saw him, and I imagine he was such a wonderful character to play. I mean, when you read it and you thought this is what you thought you could do this part, what was it you kind of attached to him? Was there a distinctive a distinction about him that you latched onto in the first instance, or was it a kind of combination of things?
Definitely a combination of things, but the first thing that attracted me to her, because Uncle Clifford prefers the pronoun she, was the fact that Uncle Clifford was all things. It came from this ideal of what if a person could accept and access all of their femininity and all of their masculinity. If a person could just be, and it just grew from there and took its own arc and shot off into the stratosphere. But that was the beginning of it. And that was one of the things to me that was most attractive, but also daring. It was something that, for me as the actor playing Uncle Clifford, sometimes I would get lost. I would get lost in a good way and in the best way. Like, I would always tell the cast, like, I know I'm not really your boss, but if I get a little too bossy or too snappy, like off camera, whatever, like, just let me know. I'm good. Like, this is Nicco you talking to. But I'm telling you, when Uncle Clifford comes through, she comes through with a force. She, you know. So that was it. It was fun. It was exhilarating, and honestly, Scott, I saw members of my community. I saw members of the LGBT community and people that would appropriate femininity in a way that was not honest. It wasn't truthful. It wasn't genuine. It was more so for a butt of a joke. And I didn't want that. I would see it and I would just, I would be thinking there has to be something behind that. Like, what makes that person cry, or who do they love, or what are their parents like, you know? So I was really interested in that aspect of Uncle Clifford as well. And many more. I can go on, but I don't want to take up all your time.
I've still got 8 minutes. You can fill it up as much as you want. Maybe I'll ask Jay about Little Murda. I mean, he has his own entrance as well in many ways in the first episode. I just wondered what it was like for you to play a character like that, and whether there was something specific about him that as soon as you read him, you thought, yes, I can do this. I'm going to go all guns to try and play this guy.
Oh man, you know, I know so many Little Murders, you know, personally, just from energy, you know, being around certain people. So I knew there was a story that was untold. It was the underground, the underdog, to say the least, you know. And so that coming of age, that discovering, that building as a Black man, finding out who he is, and consistently, what I like to call steady grind, and making his mark, I could relate to it in so many ways. And in the ways that I couldn't relate, I knew that it was going to be a changing of my life, to say, experience, you know. And I knew that I was going to have to really deep dig down in my artistry and in my craft to let you know, I have to do this. I have to tell this story, but most importantly, I have to tell it for those who need this story to be told. And Katori Hall is my sister, so I have to ride for her in every way that I can to make that happen. And so with Little Murda, yeah, man, I gave it all I had, 100%. And it's one of those things where you really want to make sure the story is told authentically, like Nicco said, and you want to make sure that you add the nuance to it that it needs for people to really understand who he is. And so I look forward for people to see and understand Little Murda and to, you know, grow and follow his story.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously there's you two, and then there's this wonderful ensemble. I mean, there feels like, and you can correct me if this is wrong, but I imagine it's so, that there's a real affection between all of you, not just for the material, but for each other, you know, giving each other space to bring these incredible characters and this incredible world to life. I just for both of you, maybe I'll start with you, Jay, first, about working with this ensemble and how energized that makes you feel, knowing that everyone else is just as energized as you are to bring this story to life.
Oh man, this ensemble from the first table read, we all were just, I don't know, it was just immediately family, you know, from the first time we sat around the table with each other. And, you know, from the first time we did the pilot, which we had to get done in a very small amount of time. So we really didn't get a chance to get to know each other, but it felt like we knew each other and we trusted each other. And so going from there, moving into shooting the season, it was everyone came to work really hard. And then we like to have a good time as well. But it was family, but at the same time, we were a family business. You know what I'm saying? We came
that
to get
part.
so
Yes.
it was nice to have that. It was nice to work around people who were professional every day, people who made you feel very comfortable in the scenes and the circumstances that we had to shoot in with the nudity and everything like that. It's just, it was nice to feel so comfortable around these people. And I couldn't be grateful and thankful enough for the people I got a chance to work with.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it was, when we shot the pilot presentation, it was something that was discovered on set. And, you know, myself and the girls, and then Alphonse, you had came in, I don't know if you remember this, we were in the club, and there were some extras that were in there, and then the extras were released to go back to their holding room. And we were all standing around, we were like, yo, we really doing this, it's really happening. And there was a conversation that happened there, Scott, that was really about, we are up here in floss, we are in these extravagant costumes that are not necessarily what we would wear as Nicco in real life or as Alphonse in real life, but these truths must be told. And there was a level of vulnerability and true nakedness that was there. You know, if you're working in a strip club, there's a level of knowing self that you have to have. There's a level of honesty and a level of bravery that you have to have in order to do that. It is sink or fly, and we chose to fly. You know, and it's those little nuances to me that are in the piece of flight. There's always a little feather there. There's always a little something in terms of in the costuming, in the set design, in the production value on the show. So that all kind of like merged together in such a seamless and artistic way. It did not feel like we were doing something that was copy and paste, a copy and paste. This was like, no, let's expand this. Let's break out of this form. Let's really tell the stories how we truly are.
Just as a final question, then, because my time's going to wrap up. I mean, I'm sure you're very hopeful that you get to maybe go back and do a season 2 and carry on for 5 years, for 10 years. But do you think if you did or if you didn't, do you think there's something about the characters that you played that have kind of rubbed off on you forevermore now? And do you think there'll always be a part of them with you as you go on through your careers? And will it be hard to say goodbye if you have to say goodbye, whenever that may be?
Yeah, man. I think with all the work I've done, the characters, they follow you a little bit, you know, and they go with you. You think about them like a family that you've created. And so me personally as an actor, I think, yeah, Little Murda will stick with me for a long time, man, for a long time. And I'll be forever grateful for the lessons that I learned through him, and that I was able to have a character that was on a page come to life and really resonate with me in a lot of different ways. And so I think all the characters I've played, whether big, small, guest appearance, series regular, they stick with you in a special way. But this one in particular, I think because it's just my first series regular and it's our first season, the things that we've done this first season, they're gonna sit with me for a long time.
Yeah. And for me, Scott, Uncle Clifford will always be with me. I think that she is someone that I see actually now in other people. And that is like so dope to me. Like when I meet people now, like, I'm like, I see you. Like my vision, Nicco's vision for how I see people it is change. It is more expansive. It's more inclusion. Yeah, that's yeah.
Fantastic. Well, guys, listen, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you both.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, and stay safe.
Likewise.
You too.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.